Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are and whenever you are. Welcome to the community live stream, the show that shows you not only the questions and answers to the community, but gives you the insight, the journey of discovery, the learning process, the thought process that goes on behind those answers so that you can become a more effective ServiceNow administrator and developer. My name is Chuck Tomasi from ServiceNow. I have been here for coming up on 9 years, customer for a couple before that. So welcome. Good to see you. Good to have you here. If you are joining us on the YouTube live stream, thank you very much. You can do so by subscribing to the channel right over there. Turn on those notifications and you will get a notification that looks something like, we're rolling the dice here. See what we get. The answer is, there it is, the notification, right as I speak. And there's the Twitch notification. How about that for a live presentation? So you get those notifications. We do this at 1 p.m. UTC, whatever time that is in your part of the world. I would love to see you here. Give me a shout out. Say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is in your part of the world. Let me know. Hey, how's the weather? How's the family? Little snippets like that to make the conversation fun. We've got a conversation. Had a wonderful chat yesterday with people interacting with the script and different ways to do things. Andrew Barnes, thank you very much. Goran Lundquist, you too. Everybody was superb in making this a live community. And that's very exciting for me to have you here joining me. So thank you very much. We also do this over on Twitch if you want to watch that. They hang around for a couple of weeks. Let's start with the roll call. Good morning, Carolyn. Good morning, Kobe. Good morning, John, Alan, and Carol. Good to see you all here. People are joining in as I do the welcomes and get their notifications going and ready. If it sounds like I'm a little disconnected in the brain, it is still 6 a.m. and it is still dark, but the days are getting longer. Spring is coming. First day of spring is just around the corner, at least in the northern hemisphere. It'll be the first day of autumn in the southern hemisphere. I'm thinking about you all over the world, where you are. not just playing, hey, this is a U.S. thing. So hang on, we'll get going in just a second. Where was I? If you've got more than just a, hey, how are you? Let me post that in the community. I did put the community link up there. Yep. YouTube's just been a little slow on the monitor today. Do have that over at community.servicenow.com. Make sure that you post your question in the proper forum. If it's a developer question, put it in the developer community. If it's related to reporting, put it in reporting and performance analytics. If it's ITOM related, you get the idea. There are many places, even a place for feedback, as we were reminded yesterday. There is a member feedback. So if you've got an idea about the community, how we can make the community better. Somebody said, why don't we have live updates on the list? Put that in there. The community team reads them and considers them, and we look forward to seeing you get your ideas, because that's what makes this better. We are building this community on our own platform to make it that much better. So if there's something you want to see, you can post it there. All right, over to the developer site, which looks like this at developer.servicenow.com. Let me get to the main page. I think I'm still logged in here. Developer.servicenow.com. Madrid is our latest release as of March 2019. I forgot to mention, this is March 19th, 2019. There, now the show has been time-stamped. And we are ramping up to Vegas. I believe there are now 46 days remaining in... And I just got another call to take a trip. I'm going to have to work a lot on planes this month and next month. So it's going to go very, very fast. 46 days remaining. Lots of hands-on workshops. Oh, let's stick with the developer side. I'm not at the knowledge slide yet. Developer workshop or developer site. Slow down, Charles. Developer. This is not caffeine in this cup. It is herbal tea. Take a sip of that fine herbal tea. Developer portal, free learning and a free personal developer instance, getting one of the main releases that we've got in Madrid or London. I believe we go back to Kingston. So get one of those free. You can turn on plugins that normally would cost money. So you can prototype, you can test, you can do a proof of concept at your organization before engaging with your developer instance, before engaging with the account team to find out how much does this cost and where will it go and what is the benefit. You can say, look Look at the wonderful new things we can do if I turn on discovery or performance analytics or whatever it is that you're willing to explore. You can explore and test that in your personal developer instance. So free personal developer instance over there, all the scripting APIs for client scripts and REST APIs and server-side scripts, all of that good information over there. We've got free learning plans, blog entries, events, and meetups. Speaking of meetups, they are under the events menu here, under events, but they are also, if you want to get signed up for some of that, over at meetup.com/pro/ServiceNow dev program. So I encourage you to join that. If there isn't one in your area, reach out to us and we will help you get one started. Soon, I think we have a budget freeze for the quarter, but keep pinging us and we will do our best to get a chapter started in your area, help you organize that, help you run it. It is your content. It is your, we're willing to share content, but you organize it. We're not going to step in and say, this is how you must run your ServiceNow developer meetup. It is up to you. Lots of them around the world. I encourage you, if you're traveling, see if your traveling coincides with one of the trips. Good morning, Amin. Good morning, Josh. Good to see you. Hello, hello. Let's continue on. I think I've talked about meetups all I can. Knowledge is coming up, of course. Knowledge 19. I believe this will be my 10th. Let's see. Yeah. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. That's 10 knowledges I've been to. First one was at a customer, and they just keep getting busier for me. It is a busy, busy time of year, and I absolutely love it. I look forward to this. It's kind of like the holiday season, right? You look forward to it all year. Then when you're in the thick of it, you go, man, this is busy. This is crazy. We got Christmas parties, in-laws to visit, and trip to take. You get done and go, whew, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to do that again. And then a few weeks later, it's like the enthusiasm starts building up again. So I am very eagerly looking forward to the new material, the show floor layout, the workshops, there's lots of content. Jason McKee is going to be giving me some hardware so I can build out one of the Hack Zone exhibits in the upcoming days and weeks. It's a wonderful time to be building and testing and 8 new workshops. So if you've got anyone in your organization that is remotely affiliated with ServiceNow or building applications, get them to this conference. This is going to be a week's worth of information. It's like a year's worth of information packed into a few days. And there is something for everyone, whether they are CEOs, whether they are developers, whether they are admins, whether they are line of business people that are using Excel to build spreadsheets. Like, Chuck, what does that have to do with ServiceNow? Get them off of those spreadsheets, get them off of that email chain, get them off of these non-productive work streams and bring them to knowledge and show them how quickly they can build and be supported. You already know. I know a lot of you are watching this video are going, yeah, man, this is preach on. This is what how we spread the word that it works for IT, it's working for HR, it's working in our organization for a number of different groups. Let's bring that to the graphic arts department. Let's bring that to the security department. Let's bring that to everyone else to get value out of the same platform, single source of record. Build applications quickly because you don't need to build a new user database. You don't need to build new groups and roles and permissions. It's all in there and you can take advantage of that and build those applications very, very quickly. Anyway, Amin says, I wonder if there are any training program for mobile development on ServiceNow. Yes, coming soon. We do have a webinar today. Great segue. Thank you very much for transitioning me to that. We do have a webinar today in just under 2 hours about the new mobile Madrid application and the development environment. Stacey Bailey will be covering that in great detail with examples. There is also a series of videos in production right now that is going to outline every one of those. In fact, I referenced one of the scripts yesterday as I was building something out. I may show that to you if I get a chance on mobile functions and swiping, and it was pretty cool. So, good morning, Christopher. We have that webinar coming up. We have a web series coming up. There will be content at Knowledge. There will be workshops, lots of stuff coming up around mobile. We're very, very excited. That is Probably one of the biggest highlights in the Madrid release that just came out recently. So look for that. We also have, well, I think that brings us near to the end. That brings us to, if we write any code today, it will be in this GitHub repository. So look for that. Let's get started with the community. Whew. 10 minutes. I think that was pretty darn quick. A little bit scatterbrained, but it works. Take a sip of the fine herbal tea. Oh, I have to start with an apology about yesterday. Apparently, when I was recording, a few of you caught me in the first couple of minutes. There was no audio. I forgot to unmute the button. I checked it this morning. It is unmuted. Thank you. And so I stopped the stream and I restarted it. And everything was going great as far as the live stream. But when YouTube rendered the video, I'm not sure what happened, but instead of 58, 59 minutes, it came out to be 2 hours. And Eric Miller, local to Phoenix area, sponsored or hosted one of the recent Phoenix developer meetups. I should probably have a bell when I mention something related to developer.servicenow.com. There we go. Hosted one of the, he said, hey Chuck, something's wrong with the video. The audio is jittery. It's too long. I took that one down, and fortunately, I have a backup plan. I was thinking, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to retell all the stories and redo the content that I did on Monday and do it again on Tuesday. And I went, wait a minute, I've got an MP4 on the video machine. So when I hit broadcast, I also hit record to a local file. So I've got a backup to that. I reloaded that, and everything seems to be in order again. So slightly different URL than we had for the first couple hours yesterday. Community's been updated. We're good. We're good. Just took another 20 minutes or so to get that all squared away. So thank you. If there is something out of order, please let me know either via the comments on the YouTube channel or the community, or send me an email if you can. Love to hear about it. If you've got a question, put that on the community and we'll do our best. I generally don't answer questions in the live chat on YouTube or Twitch, because then the only people who are going to see that are the people who watch the video, which isn't everybody in the community. Sadly, wish it was. But if you put it on the community, you have a better chance of getting a wider audience of subject matter experts. I don't know everything. I don't claim to know everything. If I'm skipping over questions in the community, it's not because I don't like you. It's because it's not my area of expertise. I may be curious and want to find out more, but it's not something that I'm going to be able to dig in and give you an answer, give you an example. So put that on the community and you get a better chance of getting your question answered, and others benefit from that posting, review, searchable process. YouTube's not very searchable when it comes to, hey, what was in the chat? Where was that question? So we're leaving it at that. I do the same kind of thing on LinkedIn. People message me directly and say, I'm having a problem with the script. Can you help fix it? I say, please post it to the community. You will get better attention there. That's often due to my schedule as well. There are times when I just can't engage with a focused, hey, let's help this person with a script. I would love to, but I do have other job responsibilities to keep track of. Good morning, Chad. Carolyn says it should be everybody. Everybody on the community watching this probably wouldn't be befitting of everybody. If they were doing customer service management, I might not be able to help them there. We have some unreplied things in the community. Let's begin. Values on multi-row variable set not saving in request item. I have not done much in multi-row variable sets, but I know Brad Tilton, itchy nose, I might even sneeze. I'll try to grab the mute button before that happens, has written some great articles. Brad has done a great blog article on hot access. I'm trying the multi-row variable set for the first time, and I have a bit of an issue. Can't seem to find an answer on the community board. Went into one of my catalog items, added a multi-row variable set. And here are your variables on the form. It looks great. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We have an and hiring manager. Then I click add and fill it in with some of the data, and it still looks fine. So Monday 8 to 5, Monday 8 to 5. I fill out the rest of the form and submit. Then I go into the submitted item, and it says there's no data to display. Any idea what step I'm missing here? Where did my row go? I say we dig in. I haven't done too much with this, so let's take a look. Go over to the personal developer instance, log in, the free personal developer instance, and apparently my instance went to sleep. So if I try to go to it, I will wake it up and come back to that one. So I think I have to respond, yes, wake me up. Nope, it's going to wake up. We'll give that a couple of minutes. I thought I had that squared away before I started the show. Apologies for that. Open Connect support chat for create incident, remove customizations from demand management. What kind of customizations? Let's find out. This sounds interesting. Hello, is it possible to revert all the customizations done in demand management without looking for customization manually? In short, can we just restore out-of-the-box version of demand management? Not that I know without starting with a clean instance. This is where customizations can be a real bother. To the best of my knowledge, there's no way to reload a base installation of an application. A base installation of a specific application. Your best bet may be to revert any and all update sets related to demand management, or depending on the other applications, consider going entirely back to out of the box configuration for all applications on a new instance. We have customer services that can help with that. Several older customers have chosen this to make it easier to support going and upgrade going forward. So it's a sign of the times, and we're thrilled that people are taking advantage of the platform the way that it was intended, is to add functionality. However, there are a number of good practices and there's a number of bad practices that can get you in trouble. The good practices, obviously, if you need a new table, you create a new table. You don't need a DBA, and upgrading goes fine around tables and forms and standard configuration items. It's when you start getting into scripting that the risk level goes up. Have you changed anything? If you simply add a field and say, okay, I need a new field on demand management, that's not going to impact you for upgrades. But you may decide later, we don't need that field. Well, deactivate it, turn it off. Don't delete things in ServiceNow. It's generally a bad practice. And if you find that your entire system, okay, customers have been on here since 2006, 2007, they've done a lot to ITSM, and then maybe they did somewhat more to, or somewhat less, but additional changes to CSM or ITBM or whatever the various applications they bought, and said, you know what, this isn't working. Our upgrade cycle is taking too long because we have to test all of these customizations we made. Here comes my instance. They've taken the approach of, let's go back to baseline configuration. The applications we roll out with an out-of-the-box or baseline installation are much more robust than they were in, say, 2010, that allow customers to make fewer modifications. Our change application is radically different in ITSM than it was even just a few years ago. So that means you have to do fewer customizations, and as a result, your upgrades are easier to support. Let me log in. So that's my answer to that. Let's go forward with checking out the variables. Request item, any idea how to get them pushed to approvals tab? The variables, Chad, I don't know. When you say the approvals tab, you're talking about the approvals. I always cringe a little bit inside when people say tab, because when you go to the tabbed interface, form sections are tabbed, as are related lists. See, when I started, there was no tabbed interface. When you looked at an incident form, it looked like, I'll show you. Not many people do this anymore. You go to Open Incidents, And there are some people who do. Open one of these. I've got various form sections, and I refer to it this way when I write lab guides too, because I want to use the correct terminology. There are form sections here. This is all part of the incident form. And it's not till you get down here, past the related links, past the update resolve, these are related lists, and they are also tabbed. And if you go to forms, tabbed, they get redrawn this way with collapsible sections. So this is still part of the form, then you get down to update, delete, resolve, whatever UI actions you have on there, any related links, also UI actions, I should say, and then you get list of stuff. Well, the reason we went to tabbed interface, obviously, is because this makes the form very, very long, and long forms are daunting. People don't want to fill them out. So this makes it a little more cosmetically appealing and a little easier to navigate. Form section on the RITM, thanks. So let me look. I'm going to quickly create a new maintain items. We'll put this in the CLS scope. Why not? I have no idea why, but we will. Create a new catalog item. And we will create a vehicle request. Okay, we're going to request a vehicle or multiple vehicles. Let's save that so we get our related list at the bottom. We'll put in a new variable of multi-row something. Scroll. Oop, turn off annotations. I turned them on yesterday to show you something, and then I forgot they were on. Variables, new. We go down to the variables, create, for if you haven't made a catalog item yet. We won't necessarily map this to a field. We will create a where is it? Go over to the docs. Docs are at docs.servicenow.com. Look this up. Did I miss something? Is there a plugin I need? Multi-row variable. It's probably 3 words. Parse a variable. Service catalog variables. Service catalog variables. Pattern variables. Notification variables. Service catalog variable editors. Something tells me there's a plugin that I need to turn on. Yes? It's a variable set. I'm in the wrong place. Thank you, Goran. Good to see you again. Hey, I got a note for you a little later in the show. I don't have any variable sets defined, but let's go here. See? Neat. We can define variable sets. We will create a GNU one following Goran's questions. Single row variable set. Create a new variable set. Multi-row variable set. There we go. Add. Title. Vehicles. Internal name. Vehicle sounds good. And type multi-row. Set that. Now, we need to add some columns, correct? Add that. And we put our variables into the variable set. I'm starting to see the architecture and how this was built. So this one, we would say make. All right, we just fill these in as if they were variables within a order item, but this is on a multi-row. And then I can say model, waiting. Add a model variable to the multi-row set. And of course, we want a year. We're all learning today. So put a year on there, not year Q, year. And away we go. let's go back to our item. So we don't need the application. We want to go to maintain items, vehicle request. And we have our variable set of vehicles. Try it. Here it is. Let's add a row. Let's get a Honda Accord 2018. And bada boom, bada bing. Looks nice. Let's get another one. Let's get a Lexus EX 2019. And a Ford Pinto 1972. Hey, come on, you have fun when you're making up data, right? Let's order that now and see where our vehicles go. Invalid state transition cannot update from state pending to pending open with given rules. Apparently I have a state transition issue somewhere. Never mind that. Let's see what we've got. We have a request with a request item. We have the request item, and it is tied to the vehicle request item. There's my variables. Not able to reproduce it. But this could be Madrid. I'm going to signify that I am writing in Madrid. They are blue, so it's London or earlier. Which list version are you getting? List v2 or list v3? Why would we encounter a problem with list v3 and only certain rows? That's an interesting. Okay, I'm also going to put, for what it's worth, I was unable to reproduce this on my Madrid personal developer instance. That is a big picture. Okay. Goran, you make me laugh. Wrong chat. We all do that, right? You get the chat window open. Something funny happens. I've been known to tell coworkers things that I was supposed to be responding to my wife and went, oops, wrong window. Refresh. I got a little bit of a splash from the tea on the glasses. Gives me a chance to clean the glasses while the screen reloads. Oh, apparently I have a drinking problem. Hey, we got a couple things in the inbox. What do you say we go take a look at the inbox, see what's happening over there, keep the conversations alive, keep the conversations moving. We have someone marked an answer helpful, remove customization from demand management. The latest reply that I had. Thank you very much. If something answers your question, even though it's not the answer you wanted, don't forget to mark it correct so that other people that are looking for that or a similar question can find it easily. It benefits everybody. Old conversation about new London custom URLs. There was a discussion going on, I believe it was yesterday. Somebody said, hey, how do I do this? You have to put a CNAME entry. You have to own the domain that you're trying to do a short URL for, or custom URL. So the whole idea is in London, we came out with, instead of having your instance name as tomasi.servicenow.com or something of that nature, where it's always instance name.service-now.com, you could brand it as your own and say it.acme.com or hr.acme.com. You can put those prefixes in and then go to either the instance directly or a service portal entry for that instance, and the customers won't know the difference. They'll think they're on your domain and everything works fine. Haven't checked into how email would work with that. Are you emailing that domain? Can you do that with an email account? Or do you still send the email to acme.service-now.com? So we will leave those conversations alone for now. Let's do one or two more of these, see where we go. Refresh the screen. And get the unreplied. We'll do a couple more unreplied. Dev 2356 is down. Sometimes I can help. I don't have access to the backend system, but let's see. Unable to access Dev 23566 worked earlier today. Seems it started when I was trying to install Integration Hub and was informed that the process took a while. It was supposed to get an email when the Integration Hub is activated. Now the entire instance is down. If it says that it's down for maintenance, then we have an issue. Nope, looks fine to me. I'm going to take that instance number and see if I can get in there with the main account. Log in there. I'm going to move this to, I don't have another screen. Okay. And that's only good for a few seconds anyway. Log in with full access. Looks like the instance is up. That's about the extent of what I can do. I can verify it's up and we can log in. Okay, appears to be alive now. It's responding with a login screen, and I was able to log in with maint mode to verify it is working. I didn't do anything. Let's keep going. Okay, sprint burn down behavior is ITBM, ServiceNow jobs. Boston, ServiceNow tech consultants wanted. If you're in the Boston area and you want to be a technical consultant, hey, negotiable salary. How negotiable? And remote work. No sponsorship at this time. Darn. Okay, unable to set list collector field on catalog form in ATF after using the workaround provided in KB 7303. How can I make sure no other users can see my response templates? Sure, no other users can see my response. What are the response templates? When using the response templates, I have noticed that I'm able to see the response templates of anyone who has this role and not specific to just me. Is this correct? And if so, this doesn't feel like it. Well, maybe it is in the Now platform. I am drawing a blank on, is this part of another application? Response templates. Resolve cases faster, more efficiently with response templates. Oh, I know what they are. They're kind of like quick answers or quick. So this is there a role in there? Is there a table in there? Let's find out in my personal developer instance. That's not it. I gotta close some tabs. I'm getting tab overload again. Response templates. HR and response template configuration. New. Can we restrict these with something other than role? Okay, look for that. Select variables. Insert current date. Not seeing anything related to roles. I feel like here, let me Google that for you. The word role shows up 23 times. Signing response template roles. Okay. Is there any other conditions? How to use response templates. Before you begin response templates, you must assign these roles to the appropriate role or groups. To assign a role, let's see, add existing role, group, user. No. Create a response template. That might be handy. Oh, that's up at the top. Thank you very much. Not really. And that's it. Nope. At this time, looks like roles are the only way to restrict the response templates. I'm going to put a link to that on here. So happy that Command K works for that, to paste in the link. If you need additional control, here comes the old enhancement request. And and make that a real sentence so it doesn't look like a cut and pasted snippet. There we go. You don't have to have the answer, just have an answer and steer them in the right direction. What is the purpose of the report helper business rule? Being said that we shouldn't use global business rules and use script include instead, I still see the global business rule. What is the impact if I deactivate it? Oh, good question. Has anybody answered this yet? I don't think we needed the entire script, but so go to I want to see when it was built. SSRU, which is business rules, and there is one called report something. Report helper, report, what did he call it? Report builder? That's not the right tab. Report helper. Okay, I did have the right one. Report helpers. It is a global business rule, and it was updated July 14th. Interesting. When was it created? Let's look. So add created out there. Put that first. And it was created 2014. 2005. There you go. There you go. It's really, really old. That's why. Reply. Okay. This is a very old business rule that predates script includes, which is why it was created global. I'm going to say very old as in 2005. I recommend, I don't need 2 lines in there, that's just habit. Avoiding changing it, deactivating, modifying, etc. At this point, because of support/upgrade issues, because of the risk of support/upgrade issues. Well, it's a best practice to use functions in script includes rather than global business rules. Take this advice for new work only. Do not modify out-of-box code or it's considered a customization. Ding, 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 ding. So I'm going to do a quick recap on global business rules versus, I still got my CLS thing here. Global business rules versus a function declaration. So if in a script include, if I create a new business rule, in fact, I can't even choose the global table if I'm in a scope. This is the crazy part. The global doesn't even come up as an option. If I switch this to global, then I do it. Say, hey, if you want to do bad practices, you do them in the global scope. But I'm not going to allow you to do that. But you can't choose the global table. You know there's a global table, right? Global table includes all of the standard fields that every other table gets. Sys created on, sys created by. If I go to configure dictionary, you can see those. It's kind of like the super daddy of superset tables, base tables. So those 6 fields that you always get, created by, created on, sys_id, those are in a table called global. Now, you can make a business rule on that table that's going to run for every table, because effectively every table is extended from global. It's not always going to show up when you look at the tables in sysdb object, but that is the case. Go back to business rules, create a new business rule in the global scope, and I will show you something. Call this bad practice. Global. And I'm going to define a function. In the advanced section, we will run this anytime. Well, it's got to run sometime. So I don't want it to be a query business rule. Let's just load up the function. Where's my advanced tab? Come here, you. And instead of execute rule, I'm going to put function Chuck's global business rule. And I can put in here gs.info. This is Chuck's. Try that again. Global business rule. Not much of a function, but there you have it. All right. Also going to turn on debug business rule to show when the business rules are running. So underneath system diagnostics session debug, debug business rule now puts in some output. So when I go to incident and say, show me the open incidents, and down here at the bottom of every list and form is the business rules that are running. When I open this up, I wonder if this is still true. I'm starting to doubt whether things have changed. Things change all the time. Bad practice. Did I not call that bad practice? It didn't run. So this says I'm going to try and run this business rule, and then I came out of this. If it has a triple equals, it says it's skipped because the condition did not meet. So when you see these types of debug messages in your business rule output, what it is doing behind the scene is loading that global business rule. So if I need to call that, for example, maybe I have another business rule or a UI action or something that I want to create on here. Let's go to my CLS application at this point, and I can call that. I'll put that on my repairs. Let's make a quick UI action. Configure UI actions. Here in my little search there. I don't need that anymore. Create a new UI action on the CLS repairs table. I'll call this trigger BR. We'll make that a form button, and we'll make the form button destructive. Red. Red is nice. It'll show up. And that will simply call my, I think we need to say global.chucks. What was the name of that thing? I can't remember. Incidents, business rule, new record, rats. I'm going to open that in a new tab because I can't remember the name. This is where Studio saves my life every time. It's called bad practice. But the function inside, oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't make it match. Rats. This name needs to match this name. I can't call it unless they match. If I remember right. Oh, wait a minute. The one that was called report helpers didn't have a function name, report helpers. So let's try this anyway. Chuck's global BR. Maybe they don't need a match. They do in a script include. Paste that in, which should say this is Chuck's global business rule. Action.set redirect URL. Current to stay on the page. And if it doesn't work and goes to the list, we know something broke. So new UI action on my repair record. Click that. Illegal access to package, private, global scope, bad practice, color, not in scope, Rhino global. Can't even call the global function from a scoped application. Can you call it from a global application? We're just making messy even messier to prove a point. Let's go to incident. First, let me get that UI action. I don't feel like typing that again. Let's go to configure UI actions. Get my most recent one. Please have an updated field. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Fine, we'll go to UI actions. There it is. Thank you, history, for saving me again. Get the script out of there. And let's go to incident. So switch over to global scope. We have a global business rule on the global table, in the global scope, and we're doing this. I feel really like I need to take a shower after this. Hello, Chuck. Just posted my question on the community. Thanks. How to utilize UI pages in ATF. With Madrid, we now have a way to do custom pages. I have to read up on that, but I know that there's a feature where you can ingest the page. You point it to the page, and it finds all the elements that you want to test. So look for, let me finish this thought, Chad. I'll see if I can get back to that. I'm sorry, that was me here saying that. I mean, how to enter the text in a text box on a UI page. Yes, it is possible, but it's a new feature to Madrid. So unless you have Madrid, you're not going to be able to get there. But thank you, Steve, for pointing to the community. Creating my UI action. This is taking forever to demonstrate, but sometimes little tests go like this. And I'm going to call this a lack of imagination. Global BR. Make it a form, trigger, destructive. Show it all the time. Paste this in and see what happens. Now, if we go to the open incidents, open one up, we have global BR, which can run. And then go to the system logs. I should see, this is Chuck's global BR. It's running. What I'm told is behind the scenes, it's loading every time you do a page, even this page, even this page, even this page. It's loading all the global business rules going, I might need that function later. The alternative to that is if you've written any of these, step one, like I just did, if you've written any of these, step one is to go and disable it. So deactivate it, grab your script, and save it. Step two, go create a script include under system definition, script includes. Create a new script include, and you call it, this part works in scopes as well. I don't make too many global or on-demand functions like this. I tend to instantiate an object and call the functions that way. But this is a quick and dirty way to fix global business rules that you've written. Don't touch the ones that are out of the box. It's bad. There's a backlog queue of things that need fixing. That's one of them. I'm going to paste my function in here, copy the name. This is the important part. The name must match up there. And make it available whichever you want. Do you want it just this application scope or all application scopes? I'm going to make it available to all application scopes. There is the API name, which is what I had in my UI action. And without really doing much of anything, I don't know where this is being called from. And I frankly don't care. It could be just that one UI action. It could be 25 other places that are calling this particular script include. Now, if I go back to an incident, perhaps this one, even though the global business rule is disabled, the script include now takes over, and it's run on demand. It's not loaded with every page. It goes, oh, you want me to run that? Let me go get it and run it. That's how it goes, rather than I'm going to preload all this stuff in the current context. It's a much more efficient way. That's why it's a best practice to use the direct functions in script includes rather than global business rules. I did a global business rules in a reference qualifier back in 2019 when I rewrote the application after starting with ServiceNow in 2010. Maybe it was 11. I think it was 2011, closer to 11 when I started. The loaner request application originally had a global business rule in as part of its reference qualifier, an advanced reference qualifier. I since changed that to what you see, very similar to what you see here. accept some parameters, go respond back with an encoded query, and away we go. I didn't even remember where I was calling that advanced reference qualifier, but when I saw the global business rule, I went, oh, that's got to change, especially when I got on the bandwagon of being the owner of the technical best practices. So that is that step. That was a long response for one question. I do have a couple of things. I used initialize instead of newRecord for a very long time. Now, Goran just had a wonderful video about the differences between newRecord and initialize. And if you're not familiar, when you're scripting and you create a new record, you instantiate a new glide record, you have the option of doing three things. One is nothing. You just start setting fields and variables, and away you go. This is on I was working on an application yesterday. You know what? Let's just do this through Studio. Be easier. I was working on an application for my garage door control opener that I showed you yesterday. And I said, wait a minute. Last night I came up with the device table and a log table. So underneath my garage application, I have devices, and here's my garage. And then I said, I want a related list of logs. I want it to log when the garage door has been open longer than 10 minutes. And say, that way I have a log of what happened and when, rather than just, hey, I closed your garage door, have a nice day. I might not even have been around when that happened. Okay, I opened the garage door, I drove to church, and then it silently monitors it and closes it later. Not exactly the best use case. I would like to come back and say, did I forget the garage door opener at all in the last 6 months? Or maybe have it send me an email when it creates one of these log entries. And the table for the log is very, very simple. It has text. That's it. Look, there's those global fields I talked about. Oh, and it has a device to reference the parent record. That's it. A reference field and a text field. What is the message I want to say? And I said, there's really no default values here. So when you write your script include, which is in my script include, when you write out the log entry, it looks like this. And I said, all right, you have three choices. One is to do nothing and just start setting fields. Okay, that's probably not best practice. Initialize sets up the namespace. When the record is instantiated, it's an object based on a class, but this turns it into, hey, I'm going to be writing some stuff to the record. Initialize that space for me. Doesn't set anything for you, and any default values that are set in the dictionary will get created per Goran's video, episode 18 of the ServiceNow Witch Doctor. Here you go. You get a bell for that. I haven't been doing the Mario coin. That's how out of practice I am. It will still create those default values when you do the insert. They're just not available at runtime when you're doing operations. So this one, I just said, let's just do an initialize. I don't have any default values. I don't need any default values. There's no point in using newRecord. So there is a time to use newRecord when you create that new record, you create the namespace, and you need access to those default values. What's the sys ID of this record? Initialize won't tell you. newRecord will. What's the number of this record? Initialize won't tell you. newRecord will. But I don't need that information. I don't have a number. I don't even have active equals true on this thing. I just set the text, set the device, and do the insert. So if it's a trivial case like this, I'm going to use initialize. In most other cases, I use newRecord. I don't necessarily know when I start writing that code if I'm going to need those default values or not. So that's my footnote to Goran's video. You got a bell. You want a coin? You get a coin. That's my discussion from yesterday. I already talked about fixing yesterday's video. We're not ready to wrap up yet, but I do have something else I wanted to talk to you about, and that was, this is fun. This is fun. I got to write a mobile function. You know what? I'm going to save this for after today's Tech Now. That's a teaser. I wrote a mobile function to do this. I'll show you what the impact was from here. Let's open that up. get to my ServiceNow agent, and here is the Jeopardy game. And as you have probably seen in the past, I'll bring up the board of Jeopardy. Jeopardy. And let's just go to the home page. And it says, great, welcome to ServiceNow Jeopardy. If you're going to Knowledge, look for this on Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday night. We'll be doing this. And here's my board, a little too large. Well, alongside is my monitor. And what I did first was just create a host view, which is a URL applet that jumps right in here. But now I have a list of the games. I drilled through, and I don't have any detail screen. This is the Madrid mobile applet. We call it the ServiceNow agent. What I want to do is swipe to open the game. And it brings me up a little control monitor. It says, okay, Mr. Alex Trebek fake. If you click, I'm going to scoot this over so you can see both of these at the same time. When somebody says, I'll take, what's that feature for 100, I see the question and answer. Okay. This is the part that I made yesterday. Had to learn a couple of new things because I wanted the experience of click to get a list. That was easy. Swipe to make a function. But what does that function do? I will show you that tomorrow. How's that for a teaser? And you should all know what ATF stands for. It's not alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. So that's what I built. Give you that teaser. Let's see if there's another quick thing in here I can do on the potential topics that I had thought about. forEach. Yes, I did want to talk about this. I have been finding myself using forEach more and more lately. So I will post this to the community or to the GitHub repo as well. forEach, normally if I were to do this in my younger days, meaning more than a month ago, I would do something like this. I would simply count for var I equals 0. I like to space things out, don't crowd things. I less than list.length. I've been programming a lot of Arduino code, so I'm really struggling to context switch in languages right here. It's like, where do I need the int? Where do I need the var? Where do I need the parentheses? Where do I not need them? And then I would do something like var item equals list sub I, so that I don't have to keep typing square brackets all over the place. And then maybe gs.info, actually let's call a function, okay? Display item, and pass it item. And then down here I would have my function display item. Again, context switching in my head is really hard right now. And it passes in item. In there I can do gs.info, whatever, name equals. In fact, let's not call that item. That might be a little confusing. How about person? There we go. Down here we would say person.name plus computer equals. Look, I'm mixing single quotes and double quotes. Holy inconsistency. Again, context switching in my head from spending too much time writing IoT code. Person.computer. All right, so this will work. It will print out the list of people and computers. I'll go to scripts background. If I can find my instance again. Close that. Close that. There it is. Scripts background, one of my favorites, and run that. And it says, here you go. Now, recently, I've been noticing forEach. It is analogous to this, but it allows you to do something a little different. Rather than counting, I don't need the value I. I'm not saying this is the 0 person, this is the 1 person, this is I can easily write that as list.forEach. And I'm going to use my cheater reference over here because I did this. The array has this built-in capability called forEach. And I can put in a function, I can put in the actual array, I can get the counter if I really wanted it as one of the parameters. There's 3 things that fit into this function declaration. And this is just a little enclosed function. And if you like, you can write this way and space it out a little bit more. I'm just going by standard usage. That might make it a little easier to see if you choose. Same kind of thing, but I'm going to use this to make it look a little shorter. Now, look at this. Instead of calling it out and then calling display item, I can just say display item. I know that's not much, but it certainly says, wait, I don't need a variable. I don't need to keep interrogating what is the length of this list. I don't need to worry about overrunning the list length in case I misspell it. I've got a nice, tight little way to do this. Some of you who've been doing JavaScript a long, long time may already recognize this. I am looking for more opportunities to use that. So when I go to scripts background and paste in the new version with the old version commented out, it does functionally the exact same thing. I'm calling a function, passing an item, and there you go. So let me save that off to our wonderful GitHub folder in... That's not it. That's the wrong one. And that just doesn't have the repo in it. So now community, SN community live stream. We get to create a new folder. Yay! Put that in the folder as forEach.js. There you go. I'll commit that as soon as the cameras are off. Which reminds me, we've used up our entire hour. Thank you very much for joining me today. Thanks for hanging out. Great comments on the community and the live stream as well. And I will not be here the rest of the week. I'll be on business travel, but with any luck, I will see you again on Monday, the 25th, unless somebody messes with my travel schedule again. So I will see you then. Until then, take care. It's been fun. Learn something, share something, be helpful. Bye.